as Caitlin mentioned, I'm the CEO of IC Group. That's kind of a picture of me 10 years ago. As I mentioned, I'm the new kid on the block when it comes to mobile messaging. So I've spent today really absorbing all the great things that I've heard from the various speakers and the conversations in the audience. So I'm doing a lot of listening and a lot of learning. Where I can add value is really my discussion and my experience and my journey in starting up a Canadian business almost 30 years ago. I've had a couple successful exits over the years. More recently, I led a management buyout of IC Group. And then over the past year, we've managed to buy 3 different businesses, 2 in Canada and 1 over in France. I've also had the opportunity to work with a really strong team over the years. It's been a humbling experience. We've had the great opportunity to work with some of the biggest brands in the world and their teams, and we've learned a ton, not only through our successes, but more importantly, through our challenges and our mistakes as we've made along the way. So I'm really happy to share that information as we go along as well. So really, I'm here to share the journey of really 2 Canadian success stories. When we recently came together under one brand, we bought the mobile aggregation business from ICF Next, and is now under a new division under IC Group called IC Mobile. So the first company, the original company, IC Group, and as I mentioned, there's to ICF Next, it's just a coincidence. It was founded in 1989, and we've been a proudly Canadian company ever since then. So this is obviously a map of Canada. IC Group, our head office is in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We have a small team of about 60 that's out in Winnipeg. We also have staff in Toronto, the US, the UK, and now in France. Winnipeg is home to many successful entrepreneurial businesses. We are also home to the Winnipeg Jets, so go Jets. And then we're also home to these guys, the bird of prey in Manitoba. Very vicious. So as I mentioned, IC Group is trusted by some of the biggest brands in the world to power their consumer engagement and promotion solutions. We've developed deep expertise and experience in digitally engaging consumers, capturing their valuable data, and helping turn them into long-term customers. We've invested heavily into processes, people, and security. IC Group is an ISO 27001 certified company, PCI DSS company. We recognize that information security processes are really important to building trust. And our key to success over the 30 years is really about building trusted relationships. And that's what I've heard so much today, is that it's really important to build those trusted relationships, not only with the brands and the customers you serve, but also with their consumers. So let's talk about the journey at IC Group, how we got here. And you're going to go, what the hell? We're talking golf. We started the company in 1989 under the brand Insured Creativity, and that's obviously where IC came from. And it really started with a simple concept. It was $1 million golf hole-in-one competition in Canada, where we bring the opportunity for brands to sponsor these events, and they did so that they could engage consumers to capture their valuable data and start building marketing lists so that they can communicate with them. So what consumer didn't want the chance for $1 million prize, especially back in 1989? So consumers would register, including opt-in information, communications for their chance to take a shot at the $1 million. Many of the core fundamentals of this original business transcend into our business today. So entrepreneurship continues as a big theme of our business. As I just mentioned, we just bought 3 different businesses 2 in Canada, and 1 in France. The other thing is that building brand trust was really important, particularly when you're starting to give away millions of dollars in prizes. It's really important for brands to be able to trust you and consumers to trust you. We realized that incentives and promotions was an important part of engaging consumers. Data collection, data management was also foundational, even at these early stages when we were collecting paper-based registrations. And risk management solutions were really important to help mitigate any risks associated with these types of programs. The $1 million hole-in-one competition turned into these things. So we were developing large prize pool promotions for some of the biggest brands in the world and their agency partners, both in Canada and the US. It really created that point of difference at point of sale when they were trying to drive purchase. So you probably recognize a few of these types of programs. And then in '95, we got this harebrained idea that we would put all our promotions into kiosks that ran in regional malls throughout Canada. And it was interesting at that point in time because consumers would actually go into these retail stores, they would make a purchase, they would get a unique PIN code, they would walk to the center of the mall, they would enter their PIN code, and out would spit a prize. And then they would wait for several weeks for that prize to be fulfilled. We thought that was a really slick customer journey at that point in time. What it did teach us is that, at midnight we would be uploading data from the kiosks, and that was really our first journey into capturing data for brands in retail environment. You'll recognize some of these guys, at least some of the older folks in the room. We did a lot of watch and win campaigns. We also did a lot of text and win campaigns over the years. We worked with, and the companies you guys may recognize are Impact Mobile and MyThumb. They were early innovators in this space and helped bring these innovative ideas to IC Group and their customers at the time. Along came the internet in '97, and IC Group was an early adopter. We worked behind the scenes for many Fortune 500 companies, their brands and their agency partners to execute these programs in this channel. This was when a time when the brands really started to recognize the power of digital engagement and the valuable data that you can get for future marketing and sales efforts. In the mid-2000s to late 2000s, social media really started to take hold, obviously. And we worked behind the scenes with a lot of the agencies to offer unique opportunities in the social media space to engage their consumers. More recently, we've started to invest in the live event space. What we're seeing is a lot of brands and a lot of teams are spending a lot of money trying to figure out the lucrative fan audience and how to engage those in a meaningful way. So where we do it. We've had the fortunate opportunity to work with some of the biggest brands and have the opportunity to execute in markets around the world. So we execute programs in over 25 different markets with our customers. So why did IC Group invest in mobile messaging now? What we're finding is obviously the relationship between brands and consumers is constantly evolving and changing for all the various reasons that are up there. The important piece is that time horizon between research and commerce is really shrinking. So we feel that mobile messaging is a critical part of that consumer engagement and commerce ecosystem. And we saw a huge opportunity and synergies between what we're doing with IC Group's core customer engagement business and mobile messaging. SMS is by far the leading and most effective consumer engagement channel in Canada. Like most of our peers, we're striving to offer a complete sort of omni-channel engagement solution that you can't do without SMS or MMS in Canada. We're also really excited by the opportunities that lie ahead with respect to the RCS. Ultimately, the opportunity to own our own supply chain in Canada for this messaging business was just too good for us to pass up. The other key reason I mentioned we were investing in the live event space. The photo on the left, LeBron James, that was when he was breaking the shooting or the scoring record. And then on the right-hand side is Michael Jordan. And clearly, you can see on the left-hand side, every person in the audience is viewing that exercise through their phone. And they're engaging and capturing valuable data and information that they're sharing that they show that they're part of the experience. The guy on the right-hand side, circled in red, had no idea that he was the early adopter 20 years ago. So IC Group's goal is to help brands and teams harness the full potential of the fan engagement ecosystem. And we know that mobile messaging is going to play a really important role in reaching this full potential. So how did we get IC Mobile? How did we get here? Well, it all started with MyThumb back in 2002. Actually, long story, but I didn't realize this till a few years ago, but my cousin actually was one of the early founding partners within MyThumb. So there is some connection there. MyThumb in 2007 was named the top new media company in Canada. In 2008, MyThumb was awarded an RFP through the Canadian Wireless Telecommunications Association to provide mobile SMS services to support the wireless Amber Alert system, whereby law enforcement agencies in Canada could issue important information regarding abducted children through short code messages. Today, that's obviously in the National Alert Ready system. In 2009, MyThumb entered in an agreement with the Mobile Giving Foundation, and I believe over the last 15 years, over $10 million has been donated through that platform. In 2011, MyThumb was purchased by Olsen out of the US and becomes Olsen. And then ICF acquires Olsen and becomes ICF Olsen. And then ICF launches ICF Next. And that's where we started to come in play. They were the mobile aggregator in Canada. There's 4 of them, as you know. And then in November of 1st of last year, 2023, we acquired the assets from ICF Next. So while IC Group is deeply entrenched in the US market and serves international customers and their agency partners, IC Mobile, a new division of IC Group, is 100% focused on the Canadian marketplace and 100% focused on helping build the Canadian market and the messaging ecosystem. Our operations, our hosting facilities, our data, our people, they're all 100% based in Canada. And we're proud to say that we're 100% Canadian-owned solution for messaging in Canada. Although we want to inject our Canadian perspective as much as we can, our ultimate objective is to help our business partners and their brands introduce business messaging to as many Canadians as possible, and to ensure that our North American partners and our international partners consider Canada a really top priority to invest in terms of future strategies. So why is being a Canadian messaging company important? With IC Group focusing on consumer engagement and promotion solutions to brands, government agencies, financial institutions, and pharmaceutical companies, we felt that messaging was an opportunity for us to bring additional value to our partners if we could somehow become a direct aggregator in Canada. What we didn't realize those number of years ago was how difficult it was to become an aggregator in Canada through an organic means. So we've been on the hunt for a number of years for an aggregator in Canada, including when Impact Mobile came up for sale a number of years ago. So Canada also is obviously a country with a lot of strict data privacy regulations. We know that through our consumer engagement business. So when you're in a particularly regulated industry, a lot of our customers would ask us about data residency and making sure you're compliant with data residency concerns in Canada. So this gives us a full solution to be able to tell them that, yes, we're really focused on 100% made in Canada solution where our data is protected within the regulatory framework of Canada. So why now? Well, to be honest, the stars just aligned for us. We are looking for a growth opportunity, and ICF Next was looking to shed their mobile aggregation assets in Canada. Also, the team at ICF were long-term. Many of you probably know them all. They're super knowledgeable, and they care about the business as if they were owners. They also care about this ecosystem in Canada, which is really important, and they've invested a lot of time and energy in helping grow that ecosystem. So I guess most importantly, they wanted to become part of the IC Mobile team and help them transition this business and start investing in future growth opportunities. So we've also been really fortunate to be able to lean on some industry experts for their leadership and guidance, which we couldn't have done without. At the same time, we brought in some pretty senior folks with respect to the technology side, which helps power the new solutions that we're bringing to the table. So IC Group is really positioned well for future growth and are ready to take on the new opportunities. So where do we see, in summary, where do we see the Canadian market going in the next 5 years? While A2P SMS is competitive, and we have a ton of respect for everyone in this room, we still see Canada as an underserviced market. Canada has a strong population growth, which we just heard in the last presentation, has a high adoption rate for business messaging, and has a solid foundation amongst partnerships with all the carriers, the aggregators, the brands, and the CPaaS providers. We also see Canada as a market that can potentially transition to RCS more quickly than other markets. And we're excited to participate and help drive brand adoption as soon as possible. Innovation over the next 5 years will ultimately tell the story for the Canadian engagement, consumer engagement. So this includes AI, machine learning, applications that drive efficiencies, increases security, and really protects consumers and helps reduce the friction between brands using business messaging as a key channel to communications. Innovation around the corner also means working with the peers to help drive this business forward. And that's all I have today, folks. I just want to thank everyone for your time. More importantly, I want to thank all the other speakers that have come up today. I've learned a ton, so thanks again.